Little Bigfoot by Tom Mahan. Chapter 8. Jamie drives to his farm.
After speeding from Richardson, Jamie slowed so much the speedometer barely moved. The road was plowed but narrow. In some places the snow was higher than the telephone lines. The sun was blinding as it reflected off the new snow, but Jamie worried about gas and not getting caught driving without a license and getting his friend to... What if a car comes? Jamie couldn't think. He couldn't plan. His mind raced. Okay, he said to calm himself. Little Bigfoot pounded the trunk. Be quiet, Jamie whispered. He passed a gas station, but couldn't stop. He had no license or money, and the owner didn't like kids. He'd get Jamie arrested. They'd get gas at his farm. He hoped he'd have enough. The gas gauge blinked faster. He hadn't been this way since his father left, and his mother went to find him. When his mother asked her father to care for Jamie while she looked for her husband, his grandfather was so happy he helped carry Jamie's bags into his house, saying, I'd love to. Jamie turned onto Jennings Brook Road, the road his farm was on. A sign half buried in snow read, Camp St. Mary, 5 miles. Keller's Bay, 7 miles. The Collins farm was first. It was where his friend Keith lived. As Jamie passed, someone waved from a tractor. He couldn't see who it was. He waved back, but didn't stop. If he did, all those people wanting to see his friend would stop him, and he couldn't have that. He did want to tell Keith about little Bigfoot. He wanted to know if he was doing the right thing. Maybe he was dreaming. Maybe there was nothing in this trunk. Maybe it was doing all this. Little Bigfoot pounded on the trunk. Jamie smiled. He didn't tell his friend to stop. He put on his mother's sunglasses to cut the glare and looked in the mirror. He saw a kid looking silly. Eve's glasses had rhinestones in the corners. He passed the Flint farm, then Grover John's farm, and the big Horowitz farm that milked 500 cows 3 times a day instead of 2. He saw no one, but waved anyway. Farmers always wave. They don't see many people, and like it when they do. Ron Faring's farm was next. Ron was Jamie's father's best friend and had a garage just for his car. He raced on dirt tracks. Ron and Jamie's father sometimes worked all night preparing his car for a race. If I could, his father said one night coming from Ron's, I'd race cars. That's where Jamie thought his father went, racing. Not to drive, but to build engines. He was a great mechanic, and Ron Faring won races after Jamie's father built his engines. A car sped down a mile-long hill. Jamie's heart stopped. He couldn't breathe. He locked up the wheels, then inched so far right he scraped a snowbank and prayed the other car would pass and not notice him. Little Bigfoot screeched. Jamie ignored him. He took his mother's pillow and sat on it, hoping the other driver would take him for an adult. The car slowed. The driver rolled down his window. Need help? Mr. Horowitz said. Jamie needed all the help he could get, but couldn't ask. He stepped on the gas and his car shot forward. Road's closed, Mr. Horowitz shouted. Jamie kept going. In the mirror he saw the other car driving away. He made it. His farm was on top of a mile-long hill, the worst hill in all Hamilton County in winter. He pressed the accelerator to get up speed. Halfway up the hill, the tires spun. The car slid sideways. Jamie's heart raced. He left off the accelerator and the car corrected. He pressed again. The car fishtailed. He was losing speed. He eased the gas down gently, feathering it, his father called it. The car moved steadily up the hill. He hadn't been home since he moved in with his grandfather. He parked the car on the road and got out and looked at the buildings he'd known all his life. No one lived here anymore. The yard wasn't plowed and the walks cleared. He looked as if no one had ever lived here. To stop his sadness, he dug a path to the gas tank next to the tool shed. Little Bigfoot made loud hissing sounds. Jamie ignored him. Then he let out a high-pitched screech. Jamie pounded on the trunk. "I have to get the car off the road first." He went back to shoveling. What if he's dying, Jamie thought. He raced to open the trunk. Little Bigfoot rubbed his eyes like he just woke up. Jamie slammed the trunk. When he finished digging, he aimed the car down the path and stepped on the accelerator. The car flew until it stopped next to the gas tank. He pumped 3 gallons. That's it? That's all? Jamie was exhausted after all that work for 3 gallons and all the worry over his father leaving and his mother looking for him, and now his grandfather was so sick he might die or might already be dead. Jamie wanted to scream or cry or both. He opened the trunk. Little Bigfoot rubbed his eyes like a kid waking up. His coat was bright red. It looked like it was on fire. He saw Jamie's house and barns and Hadley Mountain to the south. He saw Blueberry and Kimball Mountains to the north and began walking. Jamie stopped him. Farmers didn't like people on their land. They might shoot him like Ray Richardson wanted to. They went to his barn where Jamie put salve on his wounded leg. Little Bigfoot didn't flinch like he did with iodine. Jamie wrapped it with a new ace bandage. He let him sit in the car, in the passenger seat, but little Bigfoot wouldn't use a seatbelt. "You use a seatbelt if you ride with me," Jamie said, just like his father always did. They backed onto the road, and Jamie took one last look at his farm. Then he put the car in gear, and like his father, focused only on driving.